Have you ever felt your blood boil because of something someone said or did? Maybe a rude comment, a careless driver, or a coworker who just won't stop pushing your buttons. We've all been there. But what if I told you there's a way to stay calm, unshaken, and in control, no matter what anyone throws at you? Today, we're diving into the ancient philosophy of Stoicism to unlock the secret, how to never get angry or bothered by anyone. Stick around. This could change your life. Anger, it's everywhere, isn't it? In 2025, we're living in a world that's more connected than ever before. You can video call someone across the globe in seconds, order groceries with a tap, or scroll through a million opinions on X before breakfast. But here's the flip side. We're also more frustrated than ever. Think about your day so far. Did you clench your jaw when that email from your boss popped up? Or maybe you muttered under your breath when someone cut in line at the coffee shop. Studies back this up. Psychologists say the average person gets irritated at least 3 times a day. Do the math. That's over 1,000 moments every single year where we let anger steal our peace. 1,000 moments where we lose control. And it's not just the little stuff. It's the coworker who takes credit for your work. The friend who flakes on plans last minute with some lazy excuse. The stranger on social media who types a snarky comment that gets under your skin for hours. We're bombarded, every day, with triggers that push us to the edge. And what's the cost? Your mood tanks, your focus shatters, you snap at someone you love, or you carry that tension into the night, staring at the ceiling instead of sleeping. Sound familiar? If it does, you're not alone. Anger's become the background noise of modern life. But what if there's a way out? What if you could face all of that, the noise, the disrespect, the chaos, and stay completely unshaken? Rewind 2,000 years. Picture this, a Roman emperor named Marcus Aurelius. He's not lounging in some cushy palace. No, he's on a battlefield surrounded by war, betrayal, and a plague tearing through his empire. His own generals plot against him. His family's falling apart. Yet this guy sits down at night, pulls out a scroll, and writes thoughts so calm, so clear, they've echoed through history. How? Stoicism. Not some dusty old philosophy, but a practical toolkit for keeping your head when the world's losing its mind. Here's the thing. Stoicism isn't about pretending you don't feel anger. It's not about bottling it up until you explode. It's about mastering it, flipping the script so you're the one in charge, not your emotions. And the best part? You don't need to be an emperor or a philosopher to pull it off. Marcus Aurelius wasn't superhuman. He was just a guy who figured out a system. A system that works whether you're dodging swords or dodging a passive-aggressive text. And today, we're breaking that system down into 3 Stoic lessons you can start using right now. Today, this minute. To never let anyone or anything rattle you again. Imagine walking through life with that kind of calm. The rude cashier doesn't faze you. The screaming headlines, just noise. The family member who knows exactly how to push your buttons, you're untouchable. That's what's on the table here. So, are you ready? Let's dive in. Lesson 1. You control your mind, not their actions. Let's dive into the first Stoic lesson. You can't control what other people do, but you can control how you respond. This is the foundation of Stoicism, and it comes straight from a guy named Epictetus, a man who knew a thing or two about tough circumstances. Born a slave in ancient Rome, he had every reason to be angry. Imagine it, no freedom, no rights, forced to serve someone else's whims. Yet, after gaining his freedom, he didn't waste time bitter or broken. Instead, he became one of history's greatest philosophers. His golden rule? It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That's the key we're unlocking today. Think about your own life for a second. Picture this. You're driving to work, music on, feeling good. Then some reckless driver swerves in front of you, cutting you off without a blinker. Your hands tighten on the wheel. Your pulse spikes. You've got 2 paths now. Option 1, you lean on the horn, yell a few choice words out the window, and spend the next hour stewing over how rude people are. Your whole day's soured before it even starts. Option 2, you take a slow, deep breath, loosen your grip, and let it roll off you like water off a duck's back. The driver's still out there, doing their thing, completely out of your control. But your reaction? That's 100% in your hands. It's not just traffic either. This applies everywhere. Maybe your boss shoots down your idea in a meeting with a smirk, and you feel that heat creeping up your neck. Or a friend texts something snappy, and you're tempted to fire back with venom. Heck, even scrolling X can test you. Some random account posts an opinion so absurd you want to smash your phone. In every case, the Stoics say the same thing. Their words, their actions, their nonsense. It's not your burden to carry. You don't get to rewrite their script. But you do get to decide what plays out in your head. Epictetus had this brilliant way of framing it. He said we're like actors in a play. Life hands us the role, the lines, the stage. We don't pick the plot or the cast, but we choose how we perform. So when that coworker gossips behind your back, they're just reading their lines. When your neighbor blasts music at 2 a.m., that's their scene. You can't storm the director's chair and demand a rewrite. But you can deliver your part with grace or not. That's where the power lies. Here's why this matters. Every time you let someone else's chaos hijack your peace, you're giving them the reins to your mind. You're saying, "Here, you decide how I feel today." Stoicism flips that upside down. It hands the reins back to you. Imagine how much lighter you'd feel if you stopped wrestling with things you can't change. That rude cashier who barely looks at you. Their problem. The family member who criticizes your every move. Their baggage. You don't have to pick it up and carry it around. So how do you make this stick? Next time you feel that anger bubbling, whether it's a slow simmer or a full-on boil, pause, just for a second. Take a breath and ask yourself one simple question. Is this worth my peace? Spoiler alert, it almost never is. That pause is your superpower. It's the gap where you reclaim control. Maybe you're stuck in line behind someone arguing over a coupon and your impatience is screaming to take over. Pause, breathe, ask the question. You'll find the answer is usually no, your peace is worth more than their tantrum. This isn't about being a doormat. It's about being untouchable. It's about deciding that no one, no matter how loud, how rude, or how thoughtless, gets to dictate your inner state. That's the Stoic promise, and it starts with this first lesson. Master your mind, and the world's chaos loses its grip. Lesson 2. People are just doing their best. Now, let's move to the second Stoic lesson. Don't take it personally. This one's a game changer, and it comes from Seneca, a Stoic philosopher who had plenty of reasons to lose his cool. Picture this. He's advising emperors, navigating political backstabbing, and dealing with exile, all while keeping his sanity intact. His big insight? People don't wake up plotting to ruin your day. That slow cashier holding up the line, the loud neighbor rattling your walls, the driver who didn't signal, they're not out to get you. Seneca taught us that most of the time, people act out of ignorance, not malice. They're stumbling through life just like we all do, tripped up by their own stresses, fears, or blind spots. Think about the last time someone ticked you off. Maybe it was that coworker who interrupts you in every meeting, talking over you like you're invisible. Your first instinct might be to think, they're doing this on purpose, they're out to undermine me. But step back. What if they're just desperate to look competent because they're terrified of losing their job? Or take that friend who bails on plans at the last second with some flimsy excuse. Sorry, something came up. Infuriating, right? But maybe they're drowning in deadlines, juggling family drama, or just too exhausted to admit they need a break. They're not rejecting you, they're overwhelmed. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca's Stoic colleague, took this even further. He wrote something profound in his Meditations. They're like this because they can't tell good from evil. It's not that people are evil geniuses twirling mustaches and plotting your downfall. More often, they don't even know what they're doing, or why. That guy blasting music at midnight? He might not realize how thin the walls are. The stranger who snaps at you in the grocery store. Maybe they just got bad news and don't know how to handle it. When you start seeing others as flawed humans, imperfect, messy, and struggling just like you, something shifts. Anger doesn't vanish like magic, but it softens. It turns into understanding, maybe even a flicker of compassion. This isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of it. When you take things personally, you're handing over your peace to someone who probably isn't even thinking about you 5 minutes later. You're the one stewing, replaying their words, letting them live rent-free in your head. Meanwhile, they've moved on, oblivious. Seneca would say that's a choice you're making, not them. Why give them that power? Why let their ignorance or their bad day become your burden? Let's make it real. Imagine you're at a family dinner and your uncle starts his usual rant. Same old opinions, same old jabs. Normally, you'd bite your tongue until it bleeds or fire back and spark a fight. But what if you zoom out? He's been stuck in that same mindset for decades, repeating what he knows because it's all he knows. It's not about you, it's about him. Or picture a barista who messes up your order and barely mumbles an apology. You could seethe, thinking, how hard is it to get this right? Or you could realize they've been on their feet for 8 hours, juggling a dozen orders, and probably didn't mean to slight you. Their mistake isn't a personal attack, it's just a human slip. Here's how to lock this in. Next time someone bothers you, try a little mental trick. Silently say to yourself, they're doing their best with what they know. That's it, 5 words. Test it out. You're stuck behind someone at the ATM fumbling with their card, and you're late. Your frustration's climbing. Then you whisper, they're doing their best with what they know. Maybe they're elderly, confused by the tech. Maybe they're distracted by a sick kid at home. You don't know their story, but this shifts your lens. Watch how fast that irritation fades, not because they speed up, but because you let go. This lesson isn't about being naive or weak. It's about strength. The strength to see people for what they are, not what your anger paints them to be. When you stop taking it personally, you're not just calmer, you're untouchable. That's Stoic wisdom at work, and it's yours to claim. Lesson 3. Focus on the present. Let's wrap up with the third Stoic lesson, stay in the now. This might sound simple, but it's the secret sauce that ties everything together. Anger, it's sneaky. It doesn't just hit you in the moment, it drags you backward or flings you forward. You're mad because of something someone said yesterday, replaying it like a broken record in your head. Or you're anxious about what might happen tomorrow, imagining confrontations that haven't even happened. Either way, you're not here. You're somewhere else, handing your peace to ghosts of the past or shadows of the future. The Stoics saw through that trap. They knew the present is all we've got, and it's where our power lives. Marcus Aurelius, our Roman emperor friend, nailed this one. He wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you'll find strength." Think about what he's saying. Life's a mess of things we can't control. People's words, their choices, the curveballs that come out of nowhere. But your mind, that's your territory. And when you let it wander off into yesterday's grudges or tomorrow's worries, you're surrendering that control. You're serving up your calm on a silver platter to someone or something that doesn't even exist in this moment. Let's break it down with a real example. Say you had a fight with your partner last night. They said something sharp, and it stung. You wake up and your brain's already on a loop. How could they say that? What did I do to deserve it? You're brushing your teeth, but you're not really there. You're back in that argument fuming all over again. Or flip it. You're dreading a meeting tomorrow because your boss has been dropping hints about tough feedback. You're eating dinner, but your fork's just poking at the plate while your mind spins out worst-case scenarios. In both cases, where's your peace? Gone. Stolen by a moment that's not even happening. The Stoics would call this a rookie mistake. Marcus Aurelius spent his days running an empire, wars, politics, plagues, and still found time to remind himself, focus on what's in front of you. He wasn't ignoring the past or the future, he just refused to let them hijack the now. Why? Because the present is the only place you can actually do something. You can't rewrite what happened yesterday. You can't predict every twist of tomorrow, but right now, this breath, this second, you can choose how you show up. So how do you pull this off when anger's knocking? It starts with catching yourself. Picture this, you're scrolling X, and someone's posted a hot take so ridiculous it makes your blood boil. Your thumbs are itching to type a comeback. Stop. Notice where your mind's going. It's already racing ahead to how they'll reply, how the argument will escalate. Or maybe it's digging into some old wound, like that time someone else said something just as dumb. Either way, you're not here anymore. The Stoic fix, bring it back. Here's the trick. When you're triggered, focus on your breath. In, out. Feel the air move through your nose, your chest rise and fall. Then plant your feet. Literally feel them on the ground, whether you're standing in line or sitting at your desk. It's like an anchor. Try it next time you're stuck in traffic, horns blaring, and your patience is fraying. Breathe. In, out. Feel the steering wheel under your hands, the seat beneath you. It's not woo-woo, it's physics. It pulls you out of your head and back to what's real, this moment right now. This isn't about dodging life's mess. It's about facing it without losing yourself. Maybe your kid's screaming, or your inbox is overflowing, or the news is shouting chaos. You can't stop it, but you can stop spinning. Marcus Aurelius didn't meditate by a lake all day. He ruled through storms. Yet he stayed steady by locking into the now. You can too. Next time anger pulls you away, breathe. Ground yourself. It's not just calm you'll find, it's strength. The kind that says, I'm here and I'm not budging. So what's it all building toward? Imagine this, a life where rude comments slide off you like rain on a windshield, a world where chaos swirls around you, deadlines piling up, phones buzzing, people losing their minds. But you're steady, unshaken, the calm in the middle of every storm. Picture yourself walking through a crowded street. Someone bumps into you without a sorry, and instead of bristling, you just keep moving, unbothered. Or sitting at a family gathering where the usual drama flares up. Someone's loud, someone's critical, and you're the one smiling, sipping your coffee at peace. That's the Stoic promise. It's not a fantasy, it's a way of living, and it's closer than you think. This isn't just ancient wisdom or motivational fluff. It's backed by hard evidence. Psychologists today are catching up to what the Stoics figured out 2,000 years ago. Studies show that reframing your thoughts, like we've been talking about, can slash stress levels by up to 30%. That's not a small number. Think about what that means. Nearly a third less tension in your shoulders, a third less grinding your teeth at night, a third less time feeling like the world's out to get you. The Stoics didn't have fancy labs or brain scans, but they knew something fundamental. When you shift how you see things, when you decide what matters and what doesn't, you rewrite your experience. That's power. That's freedom. Let's paint the picture bigger. Imagine waking up tomorrow and your inbox is a mess. Urgent emails, missed deadlines. Normally you'd feel that knot in your stomach, that edge creeping into your voice. But now, you breathe, you focus, and you let the noise stay noise. Or say you're scrolling X and the outrage machine is in full swing, people arguing, dunking on each other, spewing venom. Your old self might have jumped in, fists flying in the comments. Now you scroll past, maybe even smirk, because it's not your circus, not your monkeys. Or picture this. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and instead of honking like your life depends on it, you just think, they're doing their best. And keep driving, windows down, music up. That's not weakness. That's strength, Stoic style. This is what's waiting for you on the other side of these lessons. A life where you're not invincible to pain or frustration. Let's be real, we're human, but where those things don't own you. Where you're the one calling the shots, not some random jerk or fleeting mood. And the best part? You don't need to wait years to get there. You don't need a philosophy degree or a toga. You can start today, right now, and see the difference by tomorrow. So here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, put these 3 steps to the test. Step 1, control your reaction. When something or someone pushes your buttons, pause, breathe, and choose your move. Step 2, assume good intent. That annoying coworker, that flaky friend, tell yourself they're doing their best with what they've got. Step 3, stay present. When your mind starts drifting to yesterday's grudges or tomorrow's worries, anchor yourself. Feel your breath, your feet, this moment. That's it. 3 steps one day. Try it through breakfast, through your commute, through whatever curveballs come your way. I want to hear how it goes. Drop a comment below. Did you stay calm when your boss snapped? Did you shrug off a rude stranger? I read every single one and I'm rooting for you. This isn't just a one-off trick, it's a spark. If it clicks, if you feel that shift, stick around. Hit that subscribe button, because we're building something here. A community of modern Stoics, people who want to live better, not just louder. You're invited. Take the challenge, feel the payoff, and let's keep this going. 24 hours, 3 steps. Your peace is waiting. Go claim it.